Hi, you guys. I have been sitting with the energy of this full moon for a hot minute. I'm not gonna lie. It's been percolating. It's been percolating. And I have a feeling this video might be a little bit more heavily clipped and edited on my end just because of the way this feels. So please have patience with me. This energy is very interesting and we're going to dive into it and be able to dive into like what this full moon is illuminating. So as always, full moons are all about illuminations, things coming to light, things coming to the surface. It can also be an energy of celebration. This is when, again, full moons happen when the sun and the moon are in opposition. So this full moon in particular has some interesting aspects that we'll be diving into, such as Uranus conjunct the sun. It's a loose conjunction. And then just to bring in the energy of our new moon in Taurus, there was a T-square happening with Pluto and Mars, and that energy is still present because they're just it's a fixed sign sort of square, so there's like some present energy in that area as well. So before we get too deep into everything, hi, I'm Izzy, also known as Astremia here. I have so many things going on in my world. I am currently opening my books for May for astrology readings, so if you feel called to get a reading with me, those are open. My Discord community is also open, and it's a totally free community for people to join who are looking for like-minded people to connect with. I'm in a deep period of reflection, and I'm really looking to find some cool things to do with this community. We have a lot of really awesome people and we're just ready to take it to the next level. So come join. Also, I have a newsletter called Letters from the 8th House, and this is where you will get transits to your inbox every Monday, and essentially I go over the week's transits and it's all channeled and basically helps guide you through the week ahead and gives you some insight of how to navigate. I also will be sending out a full moon ritual for this full moon. So if you catch this video before that newsletter goes live, sign up below so you can get all the more in-depth juicy things and rituals for this full moon. If not, you can still get on it, and eventually you'll get rituals with the new and full moon as time continues on, because that's what happens. I would love it if you guys subscribe. You like this video, go ahead and subscribe, follow all the things, click the little bell. I'd appreciate that. I'm currently working on growth and inviting people to connect with me deeper. So if you're feeling everything I talk about, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. All right. I'm going to take a deep collective breath for us. If you're seeing me look off to the side from my camera, I have the chart pulled up here. And woo-wee mama. There is so much potency to a full moon in Scorpio. And this full moon in Scorpio has a lot of different connections that are happening here that I'm going to tap into and dive into, and then I'll talk about how it's affecting your chart. And oh my goodness, there's a tiny little beetle. This full moon is an invitation into the underworld. And I say invitation lightly because it's not really a choice. It's not really a choice of whether or not we embark into this realm. It is showing up. We are going into the underworld. Scorpio as a sign is all about depth, is all about intimacy, is all about truths being revealed and to merge with the other on a deep emotional, psychological level. So when we take that energy and we illuminate it with the moon, this is deep buried parts of our psyche coming to the surface here. And again, that's why I said this full moon's intense. There's a couple other aspects that come into play here because this full moon is ruled by Pluto that just went retrograde. I dive into this retrograde in my last transit video, but I also have a post shared on my Instagram about this. And TLDR is essentially Pluto moving retrograde is something that happens quite frequently, but this one's a little bit different in significance because of the fact that Pluto is going retrograde and it's going to be in Aquarius the whole retrograde. The last few Pluto retrogrades, Pluto's been moving back and forth between Capricorn and Aquarius. So this one brings in the solidity of the future vision. This is our invitation to like really take a look at our surroundings and make sure what is happening presently is what we want to move forward with for the next 18 years. So this full moon is shaking shit up. And I'm saying shaking shit up because of the fact that we have Uranus conjunct the sun. So this is like a plunge into the underworld. Scorpio does not skim the surface. It dives deep. So with Uranus here, there's like a whisper of chaos that is happening, but it's like sudden clarity that is coming in. That's why this energy is so elusive. And anything that I've been channeling this present week and as we're leading up to this full moon has been very elusive because of the fact that the feeling that I get in my body is this full moon's like, I've got this covered. We don't need any of the astrologers or the, channelers, tarot readers, those who are doing divination, which is ruled by Scorpio, by the way, if you didn't know. We're just going to keep them in the chaos. We're going to keep them wondering and guessing what's going to be happening. For me, this is an initiation of sorts that we are all going through on a personal level. And of course, when I jump into your rising sign, you will get to understand a little bit more clearly on what stage this is showing up for you on. But this is a culmination point where something hidden wants to be felt, witnessed, and shed. There's like this transmutational process that happens with Scorpio. This is a very shamanic energy. This reminds me, if you're not familiar with shamanism, a journey into the underworld. If the underworld is not a negative space, we kind of call it that because of Western cultures really like paint it to be hell, and it's not. It's actually like the deeper energies of the earth. And when we embark into the underworld, there is a level of surrender that happens here. And there's a level of loosening the reins of control as we descend. So there's parts that are you have not been able to see, and there's so much that comes in with this full moon as far as like sorry, I'm thinking about dates. Back when my ear's ringing. Back when the nodes were in Scorpio and Taurus, there was probably unconscious contracts that we signed up for, conscious or unconscious, but usually it's subconscious because Scorpio and the moon. And so with the nodes being in those signs, there was probably something within around 2021 to 2023 that is surfacing again. And it's sort of this recognition of, are these contracts that I want to continue, or am I ready to like let these things go? That's a very specific thing depending on if there was specific transits happening for you in that time. But there is really this like, I'm being reminded of the story of Persephone with this specific full moon because of the fact that like it's all about contracts. It's all about like the fact that essentially Persephone gets taken by Hades, Pluto, into the underworld, and she's there and she eats 6 pomegranate seeds, and it keeps her locked into an unspoken agreement, contract, that keeps her there for 6 months out of the year. And that's why we have fall and winter. And then when she ascends in the springtime, that's when we have spring and summer, and she is here and brings life back to the earth. She is the goddess of spring and the queen of the underworld. She is very dualistic and very, very potent archetype to look into. But my purpose for sharing that specific story is, what pomegranate seeds did you eat? What contracts, and for some people, especially with Pluto being in play here as the ruler of this full moon, and we could even bring in Mars if we're looking at more traditional rulership, but there's this level of looking at choices. What are you choosing? What are you choosing? Like, this is the invitation of like, what are you consciously or unconsciously choosing? Because if you're not making a choice, you're making a choice to not choose something. So this full moon is all about releasing. It is this releasing of parts of ourself that we no longer want to take forward with us into this next phase. And these may not be parts that presently, if you're watching this before the full moon, that you're even aware of. And so that's why this energy is so elusive, and talking about it, and maybe you watch it after the full moon and you're like, yeah, no kidding. These are parts of myself that I didn't even know about. Some of this feels very generational, feels very karmic. The day before this full moon comes to full illumination, Mercury will have just moved into Taurus, right as the moon shifts into Scorpio. And what is very interesting about this is they're both making this shift, and it's almost as though like Mercury has been in Aries for a while here, and Mercury moving into an earth sign, it's kind of like this settling into the body. It's almost like settling into the earthly realm, and then the moon shifts into it's oh gosh, it's such a very interesting feeling because of the fact that it's almost like your consciousness settling into your body, and it's like, wow, okay, I'm here, I'm present. And then the moon shifts into Scorpio and is like, all right, let's go into the underworld. And I keep seeing the movie Princess and the Frog, you know, when the shadow man is like making an agreement with the prince, and he's like, are you ready? And it's kind of like you're like, what is happening? And ultimately, like, if we look at the story of the Princess and the Frog, like, it was a part of their growth and their evolution to go through this really intense period of time. Though it wasn't probably what they wanted, the end result was really awesome, right? You know, they get the place, they have love, etc. So it's kind of this interesting shift. Another thing that I find very interesting about this full moon in particular is Venus in Aries exits her post-shadow period on the 12th as well, when this full moon reaches illumination. Venus has been retrograde for a while, and she has been in her shadow period for a couple weeks, and the day this moon is full, she exits that. And the reason I bring that into play here, and when I was looking at the date, I was like, this is very interesting. This is very interesting. Scorpio is about relationships. It's about the deep depth of connecting. And then we have Venus and Aries, like she's basically out of the woods. And it's like, for me, it's this feeling of like, I felt like relief, but then also shock. And then she's entering new territory is the feeling that I get with this, because she's been in these areas of life, depending on where it's been transiting within your chart. And she's been retrograding and going direct over them. And so she's very adept in these areas. But now she's shifting into some degrees of Aries that have been unfamiliar as far as, you know, within the last couple years. So she's shifting into these new aspects, this new territory of embodying herself, of accepting her power. Venus in Aries is all about reclamation of your fire, of your flame, of your power, like calling back your power. And so this full moon, as she steps into this uncharted territory, she's faced with all of these. I see so clearly. Couple. There's so many things that are at play with this full moon. This full moon is ruled by the Seven of Cups tarot card. And so this is like, for me, it's almost like this, we're just faced with a lot of choices. This full moon is all about choices. Are you going to move through this thing? Are you going to choose that? Are you going to do this? Are you going to, and again, when we dive into the rising signs, it's going to get a little bit more specific of what this looks like for you or what is surfacing for you. These are always invitations. Transits are invitations for us to know ourselves more. And this one is unveiling. This one is creating a thin veil. And for me, with the sun conjunct Uranus and Taurus, it's kind of like this feeling of shaking up your reality. Like you need a shake up. And it's not going to be comfortable or cozy, because descending into the underworld is not supposed to be comfortable or cozy. Like we are looking to face deep parts of ourselves here. Now, is the integration going to be easy? I don't know that for you. I don't know what level of mastery you're at with your own discernment, with your own emotional intelligence. And that's truly what this full moon is really bringing to the surface. And the invitation is like, where is your emotional maturity? Where is your discernment? How well do you know yourself? That's what's really like the test here. And I hate saying tests, but it kind of is one. I don't mean to bring up fear with this full moon. It's nothing to fear. We will move through whatever is coming up. It just might not be super exciting. Like other full moons usually are really fun, but this one's all about like bringing the spooky to the surface. To bring in Pluto and Mars here in this, I mean, it is like a fixed grand cross when we look at it. I know they're not within direct degrees, but there still is that percolating energy that's coming from our new moon that we had 2 weeks ago. And this brings in the tension point of like, what choice do you want to make? Again, this full moon is all about choices and choosing. What are you going to choose going forward after the integration? That's the invitation. And I will be having, if you sign up for my newsletter, I will be having, a way to move through this energy a little bit more in depth. Now that we've made it to this point of the video, if you have not yet subscribed, I invite you to subscribe or comment how this is resonating with you so far. Again, I have a community of people on Discord if you want to join. I'm really excited for where my growth is going, and people who are choosing to be here and engage with me now. I'm so deeply grateful. And if you feel called to continue with me on this journey, giving me a follow and pushing that little notification bell is like the best little, like, for me, I hear like a little ding in my head. It's like the best way to like support me as I move forward. So thank you. We're going to jump into the rising signs now and talk about how this is affecting you specifically. Okay, for my Aries risings, this is happening in your 8th house. So this full moon is bringing up wounds around control. Everything that I kind of shared previously, it's always amplified another degree because you have the natural chart. This can bring up power dynamics, emotional enmeshment, 8th house, right? Some of those things may be surfacing. The 8th house also rules over our finances. So things around money could be coming up as well, of like old binds within a monetary realm, debts, things surfacing, old contracts in those areas surfacing. This can also bring up where intimacy and contracts with an intimacy need to be reevaluated or shed. So looking at those, as well as old trauma, this is really like amplified for you in the 8th house of parts of you that have been hidden, even you've hid from yourself, specifically if you do have planets here in your 8th house in Scorpio. Those specific planets have things coming up, lessons coming up to be shed. It's in the realm of the underworld. So you got that amplification, my Aries risings. Okay, for my Taurus risings, this is happening in your 7th house of relationships. So for you guys, relationships are the spotlight. This is the way you show up in connection. There is, with Uranus transiting your 1st house too, there's kind of this theme as of lately, and with the sun transiting your 1st house as well. It's like, it's time to be fully you, even if it rocks the boat. And there is also this aspect here. Like for me, it's really just bringing in themes of authenticity. Are you being authentic in your connections? And what old patterns in relationships are creating old bindings or old like there's a reviewing of old contracts within relationships and old ways of navigating love that are looking to be moved through. With the sun and Uranus in your 1st house, it's really calling for authenticity. There's, I'm hearing like, am I sacrificing my authenticity to keep the peace? You deserve to fully be you in love and be loved in return. All right, Gemini risings. This is happening in your 6th house. Ooh, 6th house is all about routines, schedules, organization. So there is a need to re-look and reevaluate those routines and that schedule, and recognizing, are you burning out? Do you actually have the energy for X, Y, and Z? What isn't sustainable? It's interesting. I totally just saw the like water cycle in my head, like, that you learn in like 3rd grade, and now my ear's ringing. So confirmation. It's like the process of the water cycling through, like, it seems like an element of that needs a whole rework, like nervous system regulation. You might also like find yourself something just coming in, or realizing what needs to move out of place with this full moon, especially with Uranus happening in your 12th house. Like, it's just like downloads from spirit, from God, of like, this is what needs to change in order for you to continue to like evolve and grow, which is really cool. I'm excited for you guys. Cancer risings. This full moon is happening in your 5th house. 5th house is all about creativity, joy, dating. And so for you guys, there's kind of like these big waves in the realm of romance, of inner child healing too. For me, I'm really seeing the like aspect of, where was your inner child shut down? Like, you may be having some old theme surface where like you've shut that part of you down, not wanting to, excuse me guys, say like, just burp, it's fine. Like, are you afraid of being seen? Are you afraid of being in joy? Are you afraid of being in pleasure? Like, this moon wants you to reclaim like play as sacred. Like, there is a big need for you to listen to what your inner child is saying and believe them. I really get the vision, and this was something I shared on one of my TikToks, where it's like, when little kids come up and they tell you something happened, a lot of adults will just assume the child's lying. And I feel like there might have been a story for you that's surfacing from the subconscious of like, where you told somebody something, especially like authority figure and they didn't believe you. So then you just learned like, I can't trust. And so like, there's a part of you that's like really needing to listen to your inner child and like not shut them down. Stop shutting them down. Don't repeat the process that happened to you. Like, you've got to have you. Okay. Leo risings, this is happening in your 4th house of home and family and security. So this one is potent. This one is bringing up family trauma. I was going to try to be vague, but Scorpio's like, just say it. So what is being unearthed within your generational lineage, what happened to you in childhood, the childhood home? There's probably something really private that is coming up for you right now in order to be released. This is also another time to redefine, what does home mean for you? And home does not have to look like the blueprint that was passed on to you, that you can rebuild, but you need to excavate. That's what this full moon is about. It's all about looking and seeing what's being illuminated by it, and actually seeing like, I am no longer going to continue those patterns. All right. Much love to you guys. This is going to be powerful. Okay, for my Virgo risings, this is happening in your 3rd house. I'm a Virgo rising too. This is happening within the realm of communication. This is also our local environment. This can be related to siblings. This is sort of like unexpected communication. This is, and for me, it's been feeling, and I'm going to be a little bit more in tune because this is my same placements. It's coming from a place, especially with Uranus transiting your 9th house, which is spiritual connection. There is like unexpected news coming in, truth telling, emotional conversations. Ooh, I can feel the anxiety in my body because I know where this is happening for me. Don't submit. Don't let your voice be stifled. This is the opportunity. Scorpio is your 3rd house. You speak from a space of deep emotional depth. Say the things, communicate the things, hear things too. A part of communication is active listening. Finding ways to connect with yourself, whether it's through mirror work and talking to yourself or journaling, writing, processing through language right now is key. And depending on your own personal placements, maybe that's a bit uncomfortable to have conversations and say what's truly on your heart. But the throat chakra is the gateway between here and here. So that is how we move through, and that's how our mind and our heart communicate with each other. Also through singing. So songs and music could be important here too, as a way to like have things be unveiled as well. That's coming in very specifically, like maybe a certain song comes up and it just brings up like things that you were like, I didn't know I was suppressing. Same with conversations. So speak. Mm-hmm. Okay, Libra risings. This full moon is happening in your 2nd house. So your 2nd house rules over money. Also, it rules over your tangible vessel. Again, that's a Taurus ruled house. So it's all about the like physical realm. So a lot of things are coming up like around worth and value and security. There can also be like sudden shakeups in like, what do you see as valuable? What do you value? And it's time for you to really root into what truly sustains you, not just materially. Like, what fuels your heart and your body and your mind, and there also might be shakeups and like unveiling around best practices to take care of your physical realm. It's very interesting how this is coming through for me, because it feels more like it's feeling very tower card for you guys. Like things are being shooken up with Uranus and Taurus there, especially Uranus and Taurus affecting your 8th house, which is which is the underworld. Your relationship to your body is going to change. Like the way you relate to the tangible world is truly shifting here. And old ways, especially pre-programmed ways from parental units of like how you relate to your physical reality, that's shifting here. Like, yeah, this little bug, it just keeps coming in. He's like a little beetle. Very interesting. I'm going to look up beetles for you guys. Beetles are symbolic of transformation, resilience, and new beginnings. So if that's not confirming, I don't know what is. You got a little extra message from the beetle there. All right, Scorpio Risings. This is happening in your 1st house, which is your identity, your ego, how you view the world and the world views you. So Scorpio ascendants, y'all are literally the vessel of this full moon. It's just literally illuminating this entire identity that you've built up. And it's asking, is this really you? This is an emotional purge. You may feel your entire identity change with this full moon. Old versions of you are dying away, and it's been time. It's been time. There's this full moon, especially my Scorpio Rising, my sweet. I know exactly who's watching this video who are Scorpio Risings. I love you guys. You got this. This is exactly what you need. It's okay. You will make it through. And I heard, I made it through the wilderness. I made it through. Okay. But it's like you singing it to you and like a subconscious part of you. Like it's not about love. It's about you to you. This is like, you're going to feel exposed and raw. And especially Scorpio Risings, you think that you can hide because you're like, I'm all elusive. I'm all hidden from the world. Nobody can see me. Oh, you're about to be seen. You're about to be seen. And whether it's just by you, by the people around you, if it's on a broader scale, you know, you are really looking at your identity. How do you want to be seen? Who do you want to be in the world? Stop being what your parents told you to be, because our ascendant tends to be that part, and reclaim this energy for yourself. Kind of cool. Kind of excited for you. I got really passionate with that one. So, emotional intelligence, patience, and discernment. Okay? I love you guys. Sagittarius Risings. I don't know why I called you that, but here we are. This is happening in your 12th house. So this full moon is illuminating your subconscious. This is subconscious clearing. This could also be dream work. You may notice that things are coming up in your dreams to be processed. You also might want to be alone on this full moon, which is very interesting because full moons usually tend to bring people together. But for you, you're like, I want to be alone. And please honor that if that is what you're feeling. There's a sort of electricity happening in your nervous system, especially with the sun and Uranus being in your 6th house. That is, it's like bringing up clarity of like a karmic pattern. This full moon, you are just being dropped into the collective unconscious, and something's coming through. I can't tell you what it is, but it is going to be, it might be something that is not a coherent thing that you actually come to like, oh, this is what's happening. Unlike some of the other rising signs, for you, it feels very much so the like, let your subconscious process this through dream work, through nervous system regulation. So don't be surprised if you suddenly find yourself changing the way that you move through reality because something shifted while you were sleeping. Capricorn Risings, this is happening in your 11th house, which is all about community, connections, friends, collective vision. So there's this need. Oh, this is so potent. There's this need for authentic connection. It's like you're done with the bullshit. You're done with like the stories people are feeding you and like really, really taking a look at your community and the like ecosystem that you've put yourself in. There is going to be unexpected changes. Yeah. And like, I'm seeing it here. Unexpected changes in who you align with and how you lead. It might be shocking for the people around you too, especially people who are in your connection, in your community. But I'm also seeing like secrets being unveiled here. It's like you can't hide. I'm seeing the hawk over there. Yeah, getting a higher vision. You can't hide. First off, you can't hide from yourself, but also like you might be exposed. You might find yourself exposed here. And see it as a gift, as an invitation to be like, you know, maybe things about you come to the surface and other people are like, yeah, I don't want to be around people that are like this. That's okay. Let people choose who they want to be around. And likewise, you get to choose who you want to be around. Aquarius Risings. This is happening in your 10th house. 10? No, this is 10th house. I did it, guys. I did it. This is happening in the house of vocation, of career, your public image. This is really calling you to the forefront of what do you really want to be doing? Is this sort of like story narrative that you've put out into the world? Is that really what you want to be doing? And having Scorpio as your 10th house, it's almost like, how long have you been hiding in the shadows? Like this is sort of the like shining the light on yourself, and you've been, it's like giving wallflower vibes where you're like, I'll just float around. I don't really want to be seen or like known in the depths of like what I'm actually doing out in the world. And it's now like being illuminated. And it's like, what are you really feeling called to do? You actually might find yourself fully 180ing and pivoting on your true desires in the world. And again, with Uranus and the sun in your 4th house, there could just be shakeups of like how you're really feeling about, or even things in your home life changing that is going to change that trajectory of like, yeah, what I'm doing in my career realm is going to change, like things at home shifting that are going to change that as a reflection. Okay. Last but not least, hi Pisces. Hey, sweet little angel babies. This is happening in your 9th house, which is all about religion, beliefs, higher learning, expansion, faith. This is like kind of energy for me. With the full moon illuminating this area, you might actually receive like a shift in your belief system. It's really bringing to the surface, are you actually authentic in your beliefs? Or have you just been sharing the beliefs of like, yeah, I heard this, I know this, we got to fly here. And that's giving the vibes of like, who's watching you? Did it land on my head? I don't even know. Who is watching you? Flies bring in this like secretive energy. And I find it very interesting that they showed up for you where it's like, it calls into question your morals and your beliefs. Like, are you still that same person that you project like in your beliefs when nobody's looking? you have to, with this full moon, you don't have to, but you're going to be challenged to, and you probably will because this full moon's kind of like got you in a chokehold. It's asking, like, let go of what is no longer your truth. Like, there's this big need for you to reevaluate what's true for you and to like really open up. With the sun and Uranus in your third house, there is this, like, again, like I said, just like sudden downloads, communication coming through. If you're still here, you watched the whole thing through. I think this is the longest transmission I've done. This full moon is essentially shedding light on things that we've been holding on to tightly, contracts that we've had, subconscious, conscious, unconscious. This is like big invitation of looking at our contracts, of looking at our choices. Scorpio teaches us that death is not an end. It's just a turning of the page. So, like, let whatever needs to die, die, and allow yourself to be ready to explore this new birthed self. Okay. I love you guys.